once you have your slab, your plate slab all ready to go, and you've rolled out a nice long even coil. Now you're going to find that rolling a perfect coil like this is difficult. I'm going to suggest that you practice rolling coils until you can get a nice long smooth even coil without cracks. The cracks aren't really going to fill in just by putting water on it. It'll look like it's filling in, but those cracks in the body of the clay aren't really getting structurally sound. So start this with really moist wedged clay. Okay, so we're talking about how to attach clay. You're going to take a sharp tool. Notice that as I do these scoring marks along the edge, that the clay is getting roughed up. It's getting an uneven surface. Now, as I do this, I'm not going to take the whole time of the video scoring the entire plate. But what I do want is a coil that's big enough to wrap around the whole thing. So let's just say that I've finished scoring the whole edge of the plate. Here's what's going to happen. If this were smooth and my coil were smooth and I attached them together and it was wet clay, they would stick together. And then when they dried, they would come apart. But if I've got a rough surface here and I've scored, or oops, let me just clean that off. I've done these score marks on one edge of the coil. Then you've got a rough surface attaching to another rough surface with some of the slip in between that acts as a binder, and those are going to grip those surfaces together. Okay, so now I can take a little bit of my slip. Imagine this whole thing. This whole long coil has the score marks on it. I'm going to dab a little bit of slip on there, put a little bit of slip on here. Actually, we can get a little bit of the thickness of it. Okay, you don't want it super wet. You just want it enough that it's going to bind it. And then you're going to kind of gently, but with some pressure, if that makes sense, press the coil in place and give it some pressure. Give it some pressure so you get a really good attachment. You won't have any thin parts, but let's say where the two ends of the coils meet, right? You're going to have the two ends. Once you've wrapped it all around, they're going to meet. Try to have them overlap just a little bit like that. Okay? You've pressed everything in place. Now you're going to gently try to blend these two together. I'm going to blend them in this direction, and then either with your finger, or you can even, now I'm supporting this from this side while I give it some pressure here. Then I'm going to support it from this side while I give it some pressure here. I'm going to pull some of this clay over and pull some of that clay over, all right, to get a nice smooth surface. You don't want to be able to see where the seam is. You want to get like an invisible place where they join together. Okay, once that's all set, you might have some slip showing. Then you're going to take a thin paintbrush or a medium paintbrush and run that paintbrush along the edge to help kind of smooth out any slip that comes out of the side. Then you're going to have a nice smooth slab. You're going to have a lip on the edge, and then you're going to be able to add pieces of clay that are cut in little slabs and shaped to form your mandala. This one looks white because it's been fired. Okay, that's it.